Hi, welcome to Verse of the Day. My name is Brandon Hathaway. I'm the preacher at the Westside Church of Christ in Owensboro, Kentucky. And I want to thank you for joining me today as we open up the Bible and study the Word of God. Again, I truly appreciate everybody who continues to follow along, whether it's your first time or you've been following me for a while now, or truly appreciate it. And today being the first day of the week, being Sunday, the congregation here in Owensboro, the Westside Church of Christ, we'll be gathering at 9:30 for Bible class and at 10:30 for our worship service, and again at 5 p.m. this evening for evening service. And I enjoy seeing people follow along on this, but it's always great to be there in person, face um, to study and talk and to just enjoy the fellowship in God. So I invite you to come and join us. Love to have you. But we are in First Corinthians chapter 7 for our verse of the day. First Corinthians 7, going to look at verses 1 through 5. First Corinthians 7, verses 1 through 5. And again, Paul in the last few chapters has just been dealing with sexual morality, right? Has been dealing with the brethren who have got caught up in doing something completely wrong. And so he's been addressing that throughout these last few chapters in one way or another. And so as we get into chapter 7, it's decently focused still on that, but here's the instructions on how the marriage should work, right? To an extent, why we get married, I guess, would be more the question. One of the reasons we get married, let me put it that way. And so it's important to read. And so verse 1, 1 Corinthians 7, verse 1, it says, "Now concerning the things of which you wrote to me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, because of sexual morality, let each man have his own wife, and let each woman have her own husband. Let the husband render to his wife the affection due to her, likewise also the wife to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does, and likewise the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. Do not deprive one another except with consent for a time, that you may give yourself to fasting and prayer, and come together again, so that Satan does not tempt you because of your lack of self control." And so, as we take time about marriage, I know there's a lot that goes on in a marriage, and there's more than one reason we get married to each other. But this is one of the reasons, right? And we can't just push this to the side. When God created man back in Genesis, and we go through chapter 2, you go through chapter 1, and it just, this is good, and that is good, that is good, and this is good. The first thing that he said was bad is that as he created Adam from the dust of the ground, he said it is not good that man should be alone. And I think that's one, yes, a helpmate to help us through our lives, to help us think things, to have someone to balance out our lives, but also the temptation that was there, that he needed someone that was comparable to him. And so you have verse 1 where it's saying you don't have to get married. That's not a law, right? You don't have to have married, you don't have to have kids. And so Paul actually himself was never married, and he encourages others that if they can too go that route, then he encourages them to. It's good that a man not touch a woman, right? To not get married. Nevertheless, verse 2, nevertheless, because of sexual morality, because of temptation of sin out there, let each man have his own wife, and each woman have her own husband. Again, in verse 5, at the end of it, it's bringing out that point that even as we may take time away, aside from each other, from our sexual relationship, it says, only do this for a while. It says, come together again so that Satan does not tempt you because of the lack of self control. This is, again, the point that he's bringing across is that God designed marriage to take care of this temptation, that a husband and wife can be there for each other, control these sexual desires here within that marriage. And so he goes on to say in these verses that, verse 3, let a husband render to his wife the affection due to her, and likewise the wife also to her husband. That, in a way, a husband has the right and to the to the wife's body, and the wife to the husband's body. That it's no longer just mine, but my wife's, and wife's mine. And so that is the marriage working as God designed it, that the two become one, right? No longer separate, but the two are one and work together to keep this temptation in control, and to put God first, of course, and to help each other throughout the rest of the marriage, and to raise kids together, right? But uh, these verses are speaking to the sexual morality and that relationship that husband and wife have together. So, anyways, a lot more on that throughout this chapter. So, if you have further questions as you continue to study and read, please reach out. Be more than happy to try to continue to study further with you. I want to thank you for joining me. Hope everybody